Most people grow up believing all fruit is always healthy, no matter the portion or timing. The image of a cold slice of watermelon on a hot summer day or the sweetness of a ripe banana often feels like the definition of good for you. Yet modern nutrition research has revealed something surprising. Not every fruit is equal when it comes to blood sugar, especially after the age of 60. Some fruits, despite being natural, are packed with fast-digesting sugars that cause sharp spikes in glucose. Those spikes can leave someone feeling drained, thirsty, or even shaky just an hour after eating. Over time, repeated sugar surges may also affect weight, energy, and long-term health in ways that often go unnoticed until a doctor points them out. The tricky part is that these fruits look innocent, and many were considered staples of a healthy diet for decades. Recognizing which ones cause rapid changes is a first step to avoiding the roller coaster effect. On the other side of the spectrum, certain fruits do the exact opposite. They contain fiber, water, and compounds that slow down how sugar enters the bloodstream, keeping levels more stable throughout the day. For older adults, this balance matters more than ever. Stable blood sugar helps with energy, focus, and even joint comfort. Scientists now suggest that choosing the right fruit can make a meaningful difference in daily health, just as much as avoiding the wrong ones. That's why this guide will break down, one by one, the 5 fruits that most often spike blood sugar and the 5 that help protect it. The list may challenge old assumptions, but offers a practical roadmap for anyone who wants to feel more steady after meals. By the end, even a simple fruit bowl will look different, offering both caution and confidence in every bite. If this is helpful, consider liking the video and sharing it with someone who might benefit from these insights. Number 5, watermelon. The sight of a bright red watermelon slice often brings back memories of summer picnics and backyard gatherings. Its refreshing sweetness and high water content make it one of the most popular fruits during hot months. But behind that familiar sweetness lies a detail that many overlook. Watermelon has one of the highest glycemic indexes among fruits. That means the natural sugars it contains are absorbed very quickly into the bloodstream. For someone over 60, this rapid rise in glucose can create sudden energy spikes followed by a crash, often leaving them more tired than before they ate it. The problem isn't that watermelon is bad, but that the body processes it so fast that it offers little stability for blood sugar control. Researchers point out that watermelon's glycemic index sits around 75, which is considered high. To put that into perspective, that's in the same category as white bread. While glycemic load is lower because the fruit is mostly water, larger servings can easily push blood sugar into an uncomfortable range. This explains why someone may feel lightheaded or unusually thirsty after enjoying a few large slices. For individuals keeping an eye on glucose, that reaction can be more than just an inconvenience. It can be a risk factor over time. Health professionals often recommend moderation, not total avoidance. But moderation becomes especially important with fruits like this. One reason watermelon causes such a noticeable effect is its lack of fiber compared to lower glycemic fruits. Fiber acts like a buffer, slowing the absorption of sugar. Without enough of it, the natural fructose in watermelon reaches the bloodstream almost immediately. The cooling, hydrating effect is pleasant, but the body doesn't get the steady release of energy it needs. Instead, there's a surge followed by a quick decline. For older adults who may already struggle with maintaining consistent energy throughout the day, this pattern can be frustrating. The fruit may taste like relief on a hot day, but its impact behind the scenes tells a different story. In cultural terms, watermelon has always been seen as a symbol of refreshment and abundance, especially in the southern states where it's often served at cookouts and family reunions. Its reputation as a wholesome treat sometimes makes it harder to accept that it's not ideal for steady blood sugar. People rarely question whether watermelon could have drawbacks because it feels so natural, so clean. But understanding this difference doesn't mean giving up tradition. It simply means being aware that what feels refreshing in the moment may not always support the body as well as expected. Choosing smaller portions or pairing it with a handful of nuts or cheese can soften the sugar impact without giving up the experience. Watermelon will likely always remain a favorite summer food, but it deserves a place in the handle with care category when it comes to blood sugar after 60. Many are surprised to learn this, since its watery texture suggests something light and harmless. Yet the science is clear. Its sugars move quickly, and the body responds in kind. Awareness allows for better decisions, like enjoying a small slice occasionally instead of making it a daily habit. With that shift in approach, one can still enjoy the memories and flavors without the unwanted side effects. Number 4. Pineapple. Pineapple is one of those fruits that looks inviting the moment it's cut open. The golden color, the tropical aroma, and the sharp sweetness make it stand out at buffets, fruit salads, and even on top of certain dishes. Yet that same sweetness that makes pineapple so enjoyable is also the reason it raises concern for blood sugar control. Pineapple has a glycemic index ranging between 82 and 86, which is considered very high. That means the sugars it contains are rapidly converted into glucose, creating a spike that is hard to miss. For someone over 60 who may already have reduced insulin sensitivity, this quick surge can leave them feeling fatigued or uncomfortable within a short time after eating. What makes pineapple tricky is its deceptive health image. Many see it as a vitamin-rich fruit, and that part is true. It contains vitamin C, manganese, and antioxidants that are good for the body. But nutrition is never about just one factor. Balance matters. When a fruit is both nutrient-dense and sugar-dense, the sugar side often outweighs the benefits in individuals with blood sugar concerns. A single cup of pineapple chunks can carry nearly 16 grams of sugar, and without much fiber to slow the process, that sugar rushes into the bloodstream faster than the body can handle comfortably. That's why someone might enjoy the taste, but later wonder why their energy suddenly drops. Historically, pineapple was considered a luxury fruit, once rare and expensive, associated with celebrations and special events. In today's grocery stores, it's available year-round and often marketed as a superfruit. That wide availability means people tend to eat it more often and in larger portions than ever before. What used to be an occasional treat has, for some, become a frequent snack. The body responds differently to occasional indulgence than it does to repeated exposure. And for older adults whose systems process sugar less efficiently, regular large servings of pineapple can push blood sugar up in ways that may not feel noticeable until a blood test confirms a pattern. One strategy sometimes recommended by dietitians is to use pineapple as an accent rather than a main dish. For example, small amounts on top of cottage cheese or in a vegetable stir-fry add flavor without overwhelming the body with sugar. Another trick is choosing pineapple that's less ripe, since its sugar content is slightly lower compared to fully ripened fruit. These approaches don't erase the glycemic impact, but they can reduce it. Moderation becomes the key, especially when the goal is to enjoy the flavor while protecting long-term health. It's not about labeling pineapple as forbidden, but about learning how the body reacts and making adjustments. In the end, pineapple represents one of the clearest examples of how something natural can still act like concentrated sugar in disguise. It carries nutrients worth appreciating, but the rapid sugar absorption overshadows those positives in many cases. For those managing energy, weight, or blood sugar after 60, awareness is essential. Choosing smaller servings or enjoying it only on special occasions makes the experience safer and more balanced. The sweetness will still be there, but the consequences will feel less harsh. Recognizing pineapple as both a friend and a challenge helps keep the relationship with food grounded in reality. Number 3, dates. Dates are often celebrated as nature's candy. Small, chewy, and incredibly sweet, they are commonly used in baking, smoothies, and even marketed as a healthy alternative to refined sugar. But what makes them so appealing is exactly what makes them problematic for blood sugar. Dates contain a very high concentration of natural sugar, up to 16 grams in just one medjool date, with very little water content and minimal fiber compared to other fruits. The sugars inside dates reach the bloodstream extremely quickly. For adults over 60, this rapid absorption can create significant spikes in blood glucose, followed by a noticeable dip in energy levels not long after. The glycemic index of dates can vary, but the glycemic load, the total sugar impact per serving, is consistently high. That means even if the body absorbs them at a moderate pace, the sheer amount of sugar per bite pushes glucose levels upward. It's easy to underestimate this effect because dates are small. People often eat several at once without realizing they consume the equivalent sugar of a candy bar. This makes them particularly risky for those trying to keep daily glucose steady. While dates do provide potassium, magnesium, and antioxidants, these benefits don't cancel out the strong sugar hit they deliver. For individuals watching their numbers, dates act less like a fruit and more like concentrated sugar packets. Historically, dates have been a staple food in Middle Eastern cultures for centuries. They provided a vital source of energy in hot climates, where quick sugar and dense calories were needed for survival. In that context, dates were perfect, nutrient-rich fuel when food was scarce. In today's world, however, where food is abundant and people move less, that same density works against stable health. Eating dates regularly in a sedentary lifestyle makes it harder for the body to balance the sugar load. For older adults especially, whose metabolism is naturally slower, the traditional role of dates as sustenance no longer fits daily nutritional needs. Some people try to use dates as a natural sweetener in recipes, thinking it's a healthier alternative to white sugar. While it may be less processed, the body ultimately sees sugar as sugar, whether it comes from a candy wrapper or a blended date paste. Glucose levels respond in a similar way. The difference lies in fiber and absorption speed, and dates don't offer enough fiber to protect against spikes. A better strategy might be to limit them to small amounts, using just one or two as a flavor boost rather than a full snack. When paired with protein or healthy fat, the sugar impact is slowed slightly, though not eliminated. Dates remind us that not all natural foods are automatically safe for blood sugar stability. Their sweetness can be enjoyable and their nutrients useful, but the risks of overconsumption are real. For those managing diabetes, prediabetes, or just trying to feel steady throughout the day, dates should be treated more like a dessert than a daily fruit. The key is awareness, knowing that each small piece carries a bigger sugar punch than most expect. With moderation and careful pairing, dates can still be enjoyed occasionally without undermining overall health goals. Number 2, lychee. Lychee is a fruit that feels exotic to many in the United States. With its rough red shell and juicy, floral-tasting flesh, it often appears in specialty stores or as a treat in canned fruit cocktails. At first glance, lychee doesn't seem like it could cause trouble. It's small, delicate, and refreshing. But the reality is that lychee is surprisingly high in natural sugars, and its glycemic index is among the highest for fruits. Fresh lychee carries a GI around 57, which is moderate, but canned versions in syrup shoot up to nearly 79. That means eating a handful, especially from a can, can spike blood sugar in a way most people don't expect. For older adults, this can lead to that familiar wave of fatigue and thirst soon after consumption. Part of what makes lychee tricky is its portion size. Because the fruit is small, people rarely stop at just one or two. A serving of 10 to 12 lychees can deliver more than 20 grams of sugar with little fiber to slow it down. In canned form with added syrup, the sugar climbs even higher. This creates a hidden sugar trap, where a fruit that looks light and innocent quickly stacks up into a heavy glucose load. Unlike an apple or a pear, which provides significant fiber, lychee offers sweetness with little to buffer it. The result is a sharp spike in blood sugar levels that can make it difficult to maintain stability. Historically, lychee has been cultivated in China for over 2,000 years, often considered a delicacy reserved for nobility. Its reputation as a luxury food has carried into modern times, where it's often associated with special occasions or exotic desserts. That background adds to the illusion that it's a harmless indulgence. But what worked as a rare treat centuries ago doesn't translate well to frequent consumption today, especially for people over 60 who may already face challenges with glucose regulation. The shift from rarity to accessibility changes its impact on health. Some nutrition experts suggest that if someone enjoys lychee, the safest way is to consume it fresh and in small amounts. Pairing it with protein like yogurt or nuts can reduce the speed of sugar absorption. Avoiding canned lychee altogether is wise, since the added syrup essentially doubles the sugar load. For those curious about new flavors, lychee can still be part of diet, but as an occasional sample rather than a regular snack. By treating it like candy rather than a staple fruit, it becomes easier to control its effects. Lychee shows how deceptive appearances can be in nutrition. Its delicate, fragrant taste hides a potent sugar content that can push blood glucose higher than expected. For older adults seeking steady energy, that quick spike and crash may not be worth the momentary sweetness. Understanding its profile makes it possible to enjoy it occasionally without falling into the trap of overindulgence. With caution in small portions, the unique flavor can still be appreciated while protecting long-term health goals. Number 1, ripe bananas. Bananas are among the most common fruits found in American kitchens. They're affordable, convenient, and often marketed as a quick source of energy. But what many people don't realize is how dramatically their sugar content changes as they ripen. A green or slightly yellow banana contains more resistant starch, which acts somewhat like fiber and slows sugar absorption. But as a banana ripens and those brown spots appear, the starch converts into simple sugars. By the time a banana is fully ripe, it becomes a fast-digesting sugar source, pushing blood glucose upward almost as quickly as candy. For older adults, this shift can make a noticeable difference in how steady they feel after eating one. The glycemic index of bananas varies depending on ripeness. Green bananas may fall into the low to medium range, but ripe bananas jump much higher, creating a greater risk of spikes. This explains why some people feel satisfied and stable after a less ripe banana, but experience energy crashes or cravings after a ripe one. It's the same fruit, but the body processes it very differently depending on timing. For those who grew up eating ripe bananas as a daily snack, it can be surprising to learn that the sweetness they enjoy is tied directly to faster glucose absorption. The convenience of bananas sometimes masks the reality of their impact. Culturally, bananas have always been seen as a safe fruit. Parents pack them into lunch boxes, athletes eat them for quick fuel, and many households keep them on the counter year-round. That long-standing trust makes it harder for people to see their drawbacks. But once the science is understood, it's clear why bananas sit at the top of the list for sugar-spiking fruits. The fact that they are so widely consumed only increases their influence on blood sugar stability, particularly for older populations. Tradition doesn't erase physiology. The body responds to sugar the same way, regardless of how familiar the food feels. There are ways to reduce the impact if someone still enjoys bananas. Choosing them slightly underripe helps slow absorption, and pairing them with foods rich in protein or fat, such as peanut butter, can soften the spike. Another approach is to cut the portion in half, enjoying the taste without overloading the body with sugar at once. These adjustments don't remove the effect entirely, but they make the fruit more manageable for those watching glucose levels. Being intentional with timing and quantity changes the outcome significantly. Bananas close the list of fruits most likely to spike blood sugar, but that doesn't mean fruit should be avoided altogether. On the contrary, many fruits provide steady energy, support digestion, and help keep glucose in balance. The challenge is simply knowing which ones to limit and which ones to lean on. Now that the hidden culprits have been uncovered, it's time to look at the other side of the coin, the fruits that actually protect blood sugar and help keep the body steady after 60. Those may surprise as much as the ones just revealed, but in a far more positive way. Number 5, berries. Berries are often called nature's medicine chest, and for good reason. Whether it's strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries, these small fruits pack a remarkable combination of fiber, antioxidants, and low sugar content. Unlike fruits that release glucose rapidly, berries have a naturally low glycemic index. That means their sugars are absorbed slowly, allowing blood glucose to rise gently instead of spiking sharply. For adults over 60, this slower release translates into steadier energy and less risk of fatigue that often follows high-sugar fruits. Eating a handful of berries can feel refreshing without leaving the body in a sugar crash. One of the keys to berries' protective effect is their fiber. A single cup of raspberries, for example, contains around 8 grams of fiber, which acts like a shield against rapid sugar absorption. This makes them not only filling, but also stabilizing. Fiber works almost like a traffic light, telling the body to let sugar trickle in gradually instead of rushing through all at once. The result is a smoother curve of blood sugar rather than dramatic highs and lows. This effect is especially valuable for older adults who may experience slower metabolic responses. Berries provide sweetness with control, a rare balance in the fruit world. Berries also stand out for their unique compounds called anthocyanins, which give them their rich red, blue, and purple colors. Studies suggest these compounds may help improve insulin sensitivity, meaning the body uses sugar more effectively instead of letting it linger in the bloodstream. Over time, this may support cardiovascular health, memory, and even joint comfort. The visual richness of berries isn't just beautiful. It signals a concentration of plant chemicals that work quietly in the background to protect the body. These aren't empty calories. They're functional foods with measurable impact. Culturally, berries have long been associated with summer harvests, homemade jams, and family gatherings. But unlike some traditional fruits that pose sugar challenges, berries fit seamlessly into both tradition and health. A bowl of fresh blueberries at breakfast or a topping of strawberries on oatmeal feels familiar and comforting, yet it also supports stable glucose levels. Even frozen berries retain most of their beneficial compounds, making them accessible year-round. This consistency allows people to rely on them as a safe, daily fruit choice. For anyone managing blood sugar, berries represent both flavor and peace of mind. They provide natural sweetness without the roller coaster effect of higher sugar fruits. Instead of worrying about spikes, one can enjoy them freely, knowing they work with the body rather than against it. Among all fruits, berries earn a special reputation as allies for stability, proving that not all sweetness needs to come with hidden costs. Choosing them regularly makes the fruit bowl safer and more satisfying after 60. Number 4. Apples and pears. Apples and pears are two of the most familiar fruits in American households, often considered the symbols of everyday health. What sets them apart in terms of blood sugar management is their high content of soluble fiber, particularly pectin. This type of fiber slows the digestion and absorption of sugar, meaning the natural sweetness of the fruit enters the bloodstream gradually. Instead of a sudden spike, blood sugar rises in a steady, controlled way. For adults over 60, this gentle effect can help maintain consistent energy throughout the day and reduce the sun fatigue that comes from eating high-sugar fruits. A medium apple provides about 4 grams of fiber, much of it found in the skin. Pears, especially when eaten with their skins, offer even more. That fiber acts almost like a built-in safety net, balancing the fruit's sugar content. The crunch of an apple or the soft juiciness of a pear delivers satisfaction, while also supporting digestive health. This combination makes them one of the best snack choices for older adults seeking stability. Unlike watermelon or pineapple, which digest quickly, apples and pears deliver their sweetness slowly, creating a more predictable response in the body. Another advantage of apples and pears is their wide availability and versatility. They can be eaten raw, sliced into oatmeal, baked into a simple dessert, or even paired with protein-rich foods like cheese or nuts. Each preparation still delivers the same steadying effect. The simplicity of adding them into daily routines makes them practical choices, not just healthy ones. For people who enjoy variety, there are dozens of apple and pear varieties, each with subtle differences in flavor and texture, but all carrying the same glucose-friendly profile. From a cultural perspective, these fruits have deep roots in tradition. Apples symbolize harvest season in many parts of the United States, while pears have long been associated with holiday tables and comfort cooking. Unlike some exotic fruits that feel unfamiliar, apples and pears carry a sense of familiarity and trust. That emotional connection matters, especially for older adults who prefer foods they recognize and enjoy. The good news is that this tradition aligns with modern science. These fruits are both comforting and protective. Apples and pears demonstrate that healthy blood sugar management doesn't require giving up sweetness or pleasure. They show how simple, everyday foods can make a meaningful difference without effort or complication. For those who want a reliable fruit choice, these two stand strong, balancing enjoyment with stability. Including them regularly isn't just convenient. It's a strategy that helps protect long-term energy and overall well-being after 60. Number 3. Cherries and plums. Cherries and plums may look modest compared to larger fruits, but their impact on blood sugar control is impressive. Both rank low on the glycemic index, which means they release their natural sugars slowly into the bloodstream. Sweet cherries, for example, have a GI around 20, far below that of bananas or pineapples. Plums also fall into the low to medium GI range, depending on ripeness, making them a steady choice as well. For adults over 60, this slow absorption translates into more consistent energy, less fatigue, and fewer sudden cravings after eating. In other words, they provide sweetness without the roller coaster. The protective effect of cherries and plums comes from more than just their sugar profile. Cherries are rich in anthocyanins, powerful plant compounds that give them their deep red color. These compounds are linked to improved insulin sensitivity, meaning the body handles sugar more efficiently. Plums contain sorbitol, a naturally occurring sugar alcohol that digests slowly, further moderating the blood sugar response. This combination of antioxidants, fiber, and slow-digesting sugars makes both fruits unique allies for older adults trying to balance pleasure with stability. Traditionally, cherries have played a role in American culture through summer harvest, cherry pies, and holiday desserts. Plums, while less celebrated, often appear in homemade jams, preserves, or as fresh snacks toward the end of summer. These cultural connections give both fruits a sense of familiarity and comfort, which can make them easier to include regularly in a diet. Unlike exotic fruits that may feel unusual or harder to find, cherries and plums are accessible in grocery stores across the country, both fresh and frozen. That availability allows them to fit naturally into everyday routines. Practical use is another advantage. A small bowl of cherries can replace processed desserts, offering natural sweetness with far less risk of a glucose spike. Plums can be sliced into oatmeal, eaten as a snack, or even baked for a warm, fiber-rich treat. Frozen cherries, often available year-round, work well in smoothies without losing much of the nutritional value. These flexible options give older adults a wide range of ways to enjoy the fruits while reaping their benefits. Unlike high-sugar fruits, which often require careful portioning, cherries and plums can be eaten more freely with confidence in their stabilizing effect. Cherries and plums stand as reminders that not all sweetness comes with hidden risks. They show that fruit can be both enjoyable and supportive of long-term health goals, even after 60. Their low glycemic profile, combined with unique plant compounds, makes them more than just snacks. They're tools for stability. Including them regularly can help replace less stable fruits while adding variety and pleasure to the diet. For those seeking dependable fruit choices, cherries and plums offer both flavor and function in one simple package. Number 2, citrus fruits. Citrus fruits, like oranges, grapefruits, tangerines, and clementines, stand out as some of the best options for maintaining stable blood sugar. Their natural sweetness is balanced with high amount of fiber and water, which slow digestion and keep glucose levels from spiking. The glycemic index of most citrus fruits falls in the low to medium range, with oranges averaging around 40. For adults over 60, this steady release of sugar can help sustain energy without causing sudden fatigue or irritability afterward. The combination of sweetness, fiber, and hydration makes citrus a reliable ally for blood sugar control. Another benefit of citrus fruits is their rich vitamin C content, which supports overall immune health and helps reduce oxidative stress in the body. They also provide bioflavonoids, plant compounds that may improve circulation and reduce inflammation, two areas of concern for many older adults. Unlike fruits that flood the bloodstream with sugar, citrus provides a gradual lift alongside protective compounds. Eating an orange or grapefruit becomes more than just a snack. It becomes a small step toward better balance in daily health. The science behind citrus confirms what people often feel, that it's refreshing without being overwhelming. In cultural terms, citrus fruits are woven into everyday life in the United States. Oranges are staples of breakfast tables, often sliced or juiced, while clementines appear in lunchboxes during winter months. Grapefruit has long been associated with weight-conscious diets, often served with breakfast or sprinkled lightly with sugar to balance its tartness. These traditions make citrus not only accessible but familiar, creating an easy path for people to choose them regularly. The fact that they align with blood sugar stability only reinforces their place as daily staples. Practical use makes citrus especially convenient. A single orange or a couple of clementines require no preparation beyond peeling, making them quick to eat on the go. Grapefruit halves are easy to enjoy with a spoon, while lemons and limes can be added to water, tea, or meals to boost flavor without adding sugar. These small adjustments allow citrus to fit naturally into the day, providing variety and health benefits without complexity. For older adults, convenience and simplicity are often as important as nutritional value. Citrus delivers both. Citrus fruits illustrate how balance and refreshment can come from everyday choices. They are sweet enough to satisfy cravings, but structured in a way that prevents sharp glucose spikes. Their nutrients support not just blood sugar, but overall well-being, from heart health to hydration. Including them regularly can bring both comfort and stability, offering a natural safeguard against a sugar roller coaster. For those over 60, citrus fruits prove that health can be as simple as peeling an orange or squeezing a lemon into a glass of water. Number 1. Kiwis and peaches. Kiwis and peaches may not seem like obvious champions for blood sugar control, but both carry qualities that make them top choices. Kiwi, in particular, has a low glycemic index of around 50 and is rich in fiber, which slows down sugar absorption. Despite its naturally sweet flavor, it contains far less sugar per serving than many other fruits, making it a smart option for adults over 60. Peaches, depending on ripeness, also remain in the low to medium GI range and provide a gentle sweetness that doesn't overwhelm the body. Together, these fruits represent flavorful, satisfying options that work with the body rather than against it. What sets kiwis apart is their nutrient density. A single fruit provides more vitamin C than an orange, along with fiber and antioxidants that support both digestion and immune health. The balance of sweetness, acidity, and fiber makes it unique in how it interacts with blood glucose. Peaches, on the other hand, bring hydration and soluble fiber to the table, creating a slower, more balanced rise in blood sugar compared to tropical fruits like pineapple. Their soft texture and natural juiciness also make them easy to digest, which can be particularly helpful for older adults. From a cultural perspective, peaches hold a strong place in American tradition, especially in southern states where peach cobbler and peach preserves are household staples. Kiwi, though more recent in U.S. markets, has become increasingly popular, often sliced into salads or eaten on its own with a spoon. Both fruits are widely available today, whether fresh, frozen, or canned. But for blood sugar control, fresh is always the best option. Canned peaches packed in syrup, for example, lose their advantage and act more like sugar-laden desserts than stabilizing fruits. Practical use is simple for both. Kiwis can be peeled and eaten raw, blended into smoothies, or added to breakfast bowls for extra fiber. Peaches can be sliced into yogurt, baked lightly for dessert, or enjoyed fresh as a snack on a warm day. Their versatility makes them easy to include regularly without much planning. Because they carry sweetness without extreme sugar load, they work well as replacements for higher glycemic fruits, helping to satisfy cravings without causing spikes. This adaptability makes them powerful allies in everyday eating habits. Kiwis and peaches earn their place at the top of the list of protective fruits by combining taste, tradition, and science. They show that fruit doesn't need to be avoided, even for those concerned about blood sugar. Instead, the key lies in choosing wisely, and these two stand as excellent examples of smart choices. With their balance of nutrients, fiber, and gentle impact on glucose, they demonstrate how delicious and protective fruit can truly be. For adults over 60, they offer both enjoyment and stability, proving that sweetness and health can go hand in hand. Looking back at the list, one theme becomes clear. Not all fruits act the same way in the body, especially when it comes to blood sugar. Some, like watermelon, pineapple, dates, lychee, and ripe bananas, can create sharp spikes that leave energy levels unstable. Others, like berries, apples, pears, cherries, plums, citrus fruits, kiwis, and peaches, work in the opposite direction, helping to steady glucose and provide more lasting fuel. This contrast is often surprising, because fruits are generally seen as healthy without distinction. But science shows that the details matter, and those details become more important as people age. For adults over 60, stable blood sugar isn't just about avoiding diabetes. It's about feeling clear-headed, having steady energy, and reducing strain on the heart and joints. The difference between choosing a bowl of berries versus a few slices of pineapple can be the difference between a calm afternoon and an energy crash. That doesn't mean fruit should be avoided. On the contrary, it should be embraced, but with awareness of which ones truly support the body. By making small adjustments, the fruit bowl at home becomes a tool for better health rather than an unpredictable gamble. One important lesson is that portion size and preparation matter as much as the type of fruit. Even higher sugar fruits can sometimes be enjoyed in small amounts or paired with protein and fiber to reduce their impact. Likewise, protective fruits become even more effective when included consistently in daily routines. It's not about perfection or strict rules. It's about balance. Over time, these small, consistent choices add up to noticeable changes in how steady someone feels throughout the day. Another key point is accessibility. All the protective fruits listed are widely available in U.S. grocery stores, whether fresh or frozen. That makes it possible for older adults to keep them on hand without added expense or complication. This practicality ensures that the knowledge gained here isn't just theory, but something that can be applied in daily life. Knowing that a handful of cherries or a sliced apple can genuinely support better blood sugar control empowers people to make smarter, more confident decisions about their diet. Ultimately, the message is simple. Fruit is not the enemy, but some choices are better than others. By understanding which ones spike blood sugar and which ones protect it, older adults can enjoy the pleasure of sweetness without the hidden costs. As always, it's wise to check with a healthcare provider before making significant dietary changes, especially for those already managing health conditions. But for most people, these adjustments are practical, safe, and effective. With the right choices, fruit becomes not only enjoyable but also a steady partner in maintaining health and vitality after 60.